Meya. We discussed Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel. Remember, once the Baskol comes out, the halacha is like Beis Hillel because of his midas. And tonight we go back to Eruvin. Yeah, tonight back to Eruvin. So the Kaira, we discussed that there's such a thing as Kaira. You have a
Rabbi, you have to record, Rabbi.
Okay.
Or Steve has to record. Somebody has to record.
Okay. So we're discussing in the first Mishnah in the Masechta, the Kaira. If you have a mavoi that's einam foolish, a mavoi sasum, a mavoi that's it's closed on all three sides, and you have a fourth side. In that scenario, you have a lechi or a kaira, according to Beis Hillel, to go ahead and matrid. According to Beis Shammai, you needed both, right? According to Rabbi Eliezer, there's a shaila whether you need it besides the two l'chayayin. But that kaira. Now let's get to the dimensions of the kaira. We discussed the dimensions of the kaira. A kaira shamru is rechava kedei lekabel riach. It's wide enough to be mekabel a brick. Riach is chatzi levana shel shloishet tfachim. It's half a brick of 3 tfachim, a 3 tfachim brach, half a brick, so it's 1.5. It's 1.5 wide. So this pashtus, this kaira has to be 1.5 wide, which would be the width of the brick. As we're going to see, it can be less than that. It's enough for the kaira to be only a tefach. In other words, you're going to have something that's 1.5 wide on something that's a tefach wide. So you're going to have a quarter on each side. You can have because you have a half left over. So if you center that 1.5, you're going to have a quarter on each side. You'll connect. You'll put some little cement on it. The Gemara is going to tell us. So that's enough. You do not need a full 1.5. You don't need a full 1.5. One will do the job. It has to be healthy enough. It has to be strong enough to go ahead and hold the brick. It's wide enough. Even if it's not strong enough, it's good enough. In other words, we'll view it as strong enough. We'll make believe it's strong enough. Let's say the kaira was made of straw and or reeds, which certainly is not strong enough to go ahead and hold a brick. We'll view it as well as if it is metal. We'll make believe. Akuma, even if it's crooked, we'll view it as if it's pashut, if it's straight. Agula, if it's round, we'll view it as if it's what? If it's squared. But again, we say roy and we say make believe. Any beam that has in its circumference 3 in tefachim, it has in its diameter 1 tefach. So if it's 3 tefachim wide, it will be kosher as a kaira because it contains in its diameter. It contains what? It contains 1. So let's see what we got over here. We'll bring up. We can find something. No, that's not the something we want to find. No, it's not the something we want to find. Nope. Let's see. So I had this up. I must have closed it. Fine, you have to keep it down. So here we go. Okay. You see that? Yes, we see that. Guys, just one guy tell me
Yeah,
we
we
see
see
it.
it. Yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got
that's
it.
all I need. Okay, you can get the book if you want. So here, let's make the pictures a little larger. Here you go. So here's your riach, one, that's 1.5, that's one, that's enough. That's the half a brick. Okay, that's yesterday's daf. Here's the if you have, this is 3. If the circumference of this is 3, this is 1. If the circumference of this is 3, that's 1. And if it's crooked, we'll view it as straight. If it's put on a diagonal, we'll view it as straight. Royan, we'll say Royan, okay? That's the key. We'll say Royan. By all these cases, we'll say Royan. By all these cases, we'll say Royan. Okay.
Are we when the Mishnah says that it's going to have a distance of 1 tefach? Is that Ryan or is the
No, that's
Mishnah
not Ryan.
actually-
That is a tefach.
Yeah.
Ryan Hillel is that we'll view it as, if it's very weak, we'll view it as strong. But it has to be a tefach thick. The minimal share of a koira is a tefach.
My question is, it's not 3 to 1. Correct? It's not 3 becoming 1. Isn't this pi?
If you go ahead and take a circumference, it's 3 to 1. The diameter is 3 to 1.
Yeah?
It's totally right. It's not exact. It's not exact. Okay, says the Gemara Vaita. Let's see Amid Aleph. Says the Gemara. Tefach umechza boy. How could you say a tefach? L'chayr, you should need a tefach umechza. If it's 1.5 wide, the brick, you should need a full brick of 1.5 to go ahead wide and hold it. Says the Gemara, Kivin de Rachel l'kabel tefach, either chatzi tefach, the other half, malbin le betina. We'll go ahead, we'll cement it with betina, with clay. Mashu mihagisa, a mashu which is a quarter on one side. Mashu mihagisa, and a quarter on the other side. The kaima, and it'll stay. Amar Rabbi bar Abuna, Chayrish Amru, Tzaricha Shtei Bria K'dei L'Kabel Ariach. Rav Huna says this kaira, we won't say Ryan, it has to be healthy enough to go ahead and accept the brick. Umamide kaira, however, the mamide kaira ain't tzrichim shei bria. They don't have to be bria. So what are the mamidim? Let's see. Let's see if we can find the mamidim. There they are. There they are, guys. These are the mamidim over here, right? So what's the difference? Why he holds the kaira itself has to be, but the mamidim don't have to be. Says Rashi, "Umamidia kaira 3 lines down. If you put on top of yisedos, those yisedos, those pegs coming out of the wall, ain't tzrichim sheyibriyim lekabel kaira v'ariach, ela lekabel kaira v'vad." They only have to be kabel the beam. The halayav ariach Allah. You don't put the ariach on top of it. Ubekaira in kaviyas. You need the kaviyas on top of the kaira. Ki hechit havi heka me aliyah. That should be a good heker. Aval mamidecha leitoli akera biditu. The heker of a mavi, fellas, take a look at the picture, is in the beam. So this beam has to be able to go ahead and be makabel the ariach. But these are just a means of holding up the beam. So they have to be strong enough to hold the beam, but they don't have to be strong enough to hold the beam in the brick, because there's no din of heker over there. So the mamidim, interesting halacha, the mamidim don't have to be strong enough. This is according to Rav Huna. Rav Chisda Amar, whether it's the beam and or the mamidim, it has to be strong enough to go ahead and be makabel the ariach. Okay, you went ahead, you left the beam. Guys, picture 176, take a look. You put the beam and you hung a sheet over the beam. Now, is this good or not? What's wrong with this? Says the Gemara, if you do this, guess what? It's 3 tvachim off the ground. Koira ein kan, mechitza ein kan. Koira ein kan, the hamachasya. You have to recognize the beam. You won't recognize it. Why? Because you got a sheet over it, fellas. You might even tell me it'll work out some mechitza because you have a full-fledged wall. Mechitza ein kan, mechitza shehagedoyim boikin ba. You have mechitza that the gedoyim, that the tzigin, the goats, they can go out of sukkahs, right? We're always familiar with sukkahs of gedoyim boikin ba. So take a look at the picture, guys. Very geschmack. Yeah, the beam itself is covered up, so you don't have the beam. You'll say, so it doesn't work out hecker. So you'll say it'll work out some mechitza. You don't have mechitza because since it's more than 3 tefachim, gedoyim aboikim ba, and therefore you don't even have it working out some mechitza.
But the whole tachlis of him putting on the machzelis was to show that it's a strong beam, Rabbi.
No, he just hung it there to dry. It could be he didn't want to show that it's a strong beam. He just put it up there, Nasi. You don't need a strong beam. You just need a beam that's a tefach wide. He just put it up there.
The mat is not a better hecker than just the beam itself. It's good. It's not a mechitza, but it's not a better hecker than just a beam.
The Chachamim said you have a beam that has to be visible. That's what the Chachamim made the tikkun of the Smavi. The tikkun of the Smavi is a visible beam. Now, if it was hanging down below 3, we'd say lavud and you'd have it closed. But since it's neither, so it wouldn't work there as beam, it worked there as mechitza. But now you have neither. By covering it up in mechitza, you ruined your hecker. And mechitza you don't have because it's a quart short, as they say in the vernacular. Right? Guys, good? Great. Says the Gemara Vayta. Tanabana. Koira hayoytza mekaisel zeh ve'eina nagas b'kaisel zeh. It goes out from one to the other. Again, that's a plank going off one wall, doesn't reach the other. Picture 177, guys. It's right here in front of you. You got 2 beams coming out, and they don't touch each other. Now, if they were within 3 tefachim, what would we say? We'd say lavud, and they'd be connected. However, so therefore, pachas mishleisha less than 3 tefachim ain't sarch lehevi kaira acheres. You don't have to go ahead and bring another kaira. Ain't sarach lehevi kaira acheres. You don't have to bring another kaira. Because why? Because it is you say lavud and they're touching. However, if you shleisha, if it's 3 or more, sarach lehevi kaira acheres. You have to bring another kaira, and that's what you did. You see, you did over there, guys. You put something on top. Again, it should be arba because arba is amis. It should be arba. It's a mistake in the Gemara. It should be arba. According to the shita of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, guys. The Shimon ben Gamliel is love is by 4 tefachim, not 3. So guys, look at me. You have your wall. Here's my wall. Your beam is coming out, you're short. If it's within 3, you're good. Not 3, no good. Right? Coming together like this, you're a little bit in the middle missing. Right? If it's within 3, it's considered connected. Less than 3, bring something else on top. Says Rav Shimon Gamliel, if it's within 4, it's also okay. Because again, his din of love, his halacha Moshe b'Sinai love is 4 tefachim, not 3 tefachim. The chain based curse hamatim. Okay, let me get this back up here. Okay. In addition, I don't know why this thing's not moving. Here, fellas, you have 2 slats across. They are not a tefach. They're not a tefach. Now, if you put them together, they're a tefach. It's not chiddush, right? The chiddush over here is you have an ear space in between. If that ear space is less than 3, we're going to say love it, and it's a good beam. If it's more than 3, then according to Shimon Gamliel, it'll be a good beam. According to us, it will not be a good beam. In addition, picture 181, you have one higher and one lower, right? We'll go ahead and view them as equal. Royan will view them as equal and we'll say it's a good what? It's a good mavoi. In addition, take a look at picture 183. If it comes out like this, we're going to say royin as if it's not there, if the whole thing's recessed. Over here, if it's this with above, if it's 3 tefachim, over here we'll view it down. As long as it doesn't come to 3 tefachim above the 20 area. Okay, that's going to take care of that. Says the Gemara again. It's a very, 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 very easy daf. Baruch Hashem. Says the Gemara weiter. The chain base kairos hamat imos. You have 2 kairos that shtim. They're twins. How they're not touching. Loy bezuka del kabel ariach, loy bezuka del kabel. Neither one is a tefach wide. In mekablos ariach lerach by tefach. If you could take the length of the brick and put them on between them, ain't sarf levi kairach keres, because the length of the brick is 3 tefachim, guys, and you don't have to bring in other kaira. Then lav sarf levi kairach keres. If you have the article, he has a nice picture. But Shimon Gamliel in mekabelas ariach le'arkei shloisha ain't sarf levi kairach keres. Then lav sarf levi kairach keres. Again, that we saw going back, guys. That's picture 181, right there in front of you. Picture 181. That you see the roof centered. So therefore, if one, you don't, Rabbi Ryan will view, will make believe. Will view the lower one, the upper one is if it's below. And the lower one is if it's above. One condition. It's got to be within the healthy realm of the kashrus of a mavoi, meaning the max being 20 amma, the minimum 10 tefachim. So this is fascinating, guys. I can have a half a tefach beam at the 18 amma part, and I can have a half a tefach beam at the 11 tefach part, and I'll be mitzvah to 2 extremes. It's fascinating. Again, this certainly would work. I'll seem to work al seker, not al smuchitza. Yeah. Amar Abaye, Rabbi Yehuda Savala Kavua Bechada Upalu Bechada. Abaye says of Yosi, the son of Yehuda, holds like him in one way and disagrees in another. Savala Kavua Bechada Disley Ryan. He holds of Ryan. After all, fellas, Rabbi Yehuda is the one in the Mishnah who said that the beam can be made of straw, and we'll view it as if it's made of metal. Upolgla b'chada. Rabbi Yehuda Savala Mailami Esrim. Rabbi Yehuda said in our first Mishnah on Masechta that because he learned that again. Remember, he learned that from the palace of Malachim. He learned that from the palace of Malachim. It could be even 40 and 50 high. And Rabbi Yehuda Savala b'toichaf in l'maylam echaf loy. So he holds like him in one and disagrees with him in the other. Okay, so now let's get to the circumference over here. Okay, so, well, in a second, we'll get to the circumference. Says the Gemara, Yehuda Omer Rach Ba'af B'Shein Bria. If it's wide, even if it's not healthy, it's okay. Masan Rabbi Yehuda L'Chia Bar Rav. Rabbi Yehuda was teaching L'Chia Bar Rav Kamei de Rav. Rach Ba'af B'Shein Bria. If it's wide, even though it's not healthy, Amalei. So Rav told him, Asnaya Rach Ba'Ubria. It has to be healthy. It has to be able to hold the brick. Says the if it's 4, there's a difference between a tefach and it's 4 tefachim, right? If it's 4 tefachim thick rather than a tefach, right? A tefach has to be heavy. If it's 4, it has to be really solid. If it's 4 tefachim, right? Then Rav is Maida, it doesn't have to be healthy. 4 tefachim wide will do the job. Again, it's 4 times the amount of necessary. You only need 1 tefach. And they're saying, if it's 4 tefachim, it doesn't have to be so heavy. Says Rabbi Nachinami, if it's 4 tefachim, the width of it will give it, stability. It will not have to be that strong. Paisa shel kash. So he said if it's made of kash, we'll view it as matechas. Says my kamashma and Damrin and Royan. I know hach. That's what we said earlier. Like the wood should be strong, but it's straw, which is okay. So in other words, you gave a bunch of cases of Royan. Look at the Mishnah, guys. What did the Mishnah say? If it's made of, Rabbi Yehuda said, even though it's not healthy, made of kash, of konim, Royan esay kilu shemateches. Akuma Royan esay kilu. Why do you have to give? I mean, we got the drift already. That you go ahead and make believe. So the Gemara says the following. I'd say the following. My kamashma v'mina royin. I know half. Some other tema v'mina amrinan. I would say by wood you say royin. Shaloi v'mina loy amrinan. Fellas. If you have a thin piece of wood that can break, okay. Can you have a strong piece of wood that won't break? Yeah, because wood is wood. Is there strong straw and weak straw? Or there's just straw? There's just straw. So that's the kiddush. When would you say Ryan? Only if I can visualize the weak wood as if what? It is strong wood, because it exists in the realm of reality. Masha'en Kain, I would say by straw, to view it as iron, azav vait, so far, I'd say we don't go. Kimash malon that you do. Kimash malon that you do go that far. Guys, so far so good? Okay, Baruch Hashem. Akuma, Roy Nesakila Pshuta. We said, I'm going to go back to the picture. Again, the pictures are very good, so it stops me from having to explain a lot. What? Why doesn't it move? I don't know. Say this one, picture 183, guys. 183, you see that? Okay, so now let's see the Gemara. Akuma roina sakili pshuta. Now pshita, it's pashit. You just told me royin, right? So pshita will view it as being straight. Kamashalon kidder Rav Zera. Then Rav Zera, he besocha mavoi, if it's in the middle of the mavoi, ukmamisa chutz the mavoi, and its crookedness is outside. He besoch esrim, it's within 20. If akmamisa lemailami esrim, and its akmimus is above esrim. He lemailami asara, akmamisa lematami asara. The beam is above 10, and the akmimus is below 10. In other words, in all scenarios, the akmimus is out of bounds. It's either out of bounds above the area or out of bounds below the area, but it's out of bounds. Ryan, we'll say Ryan, kol shili not misa. If you would take it away, the aim being the zel shleisha, right? The picture 184, guys, right? Ain tzarich lehevi koira cheres. You don't have to bring another koira. Dim lam tzarich lehevi koira cheres. So on nine pshita. Says mehibasach maviak misa chutz l'maviak itzrichle. The kiddush is picture 183. Guys, in 183, you might think you're drawn after it. Since it's so far out, you might be drawn after it. You'll be drawn after the top of the beam. And you'll be out of bounds into Rishus Harabim, Kimash Malon. Kimash Malon, that's why we don't say that. Okay? Okay, so now, the Mishnah had said that if you have an area that is 3, a circumference of 3 will give you a diameter of 1. A circumference of 3 will give you a diameter of 1. So the rest of the Gemara is going to be a little mathematics. Okay, the rest of the Gemara is going to be a little mathematics. Let's look at the Yam Shel Shlomo. The Gemara is going to ask, where do you know this 3-to-1 ratio? It's going to go to Shlomo made in the Beis HaMikdash. In his Beis HaMikdash, he made a mikvah. Actually, it can hold 150 mikvahs. The circumference was 30 amma, and the diameter was 10 amma. So this is where we get the 3-to-1 ratio from Hillel. Just like over here, Shlomo was 30-10. So to what? So to 3-to-1 is the ratio. 3-to-1 is the same ratio as 30-10. Okay? So the Gemara wants to know, let's see it inside. Agula, miruvas. If it's agul, we'll view it as if it's square. Hasulamali says, in other words, okay, I understand. Says Masef it's trichalei. Kol sheyesh be'keifoi gimel tfachim yesh be'rachav tefach. That anything that you have in the circumference 3, you have in the diameter of tefach. Minani mili. How do you know this? So Rabbi Yochanan Amar Kra, the pasuk says again. This is by Shlomo's Yam. It says Vayasis Hayam Mutzak. Shlomo made he made a mikvah of metal. Esa ba'ama misfasei at sfasei. 10 amas from one side to the other. Ogel saviv around. The chomesh ba'ama kamasei, and its height was 5, so it was 5 by 10. The kov shloishim ba'ama, and a diameter of 30 was its amma. Yosef say saviv with a circle around it. So you see the diameter of a 30 amma pool is 10 amas, 3-to-1 ratio. Fred Gemara, how could you say that? But ikasfasai, the half a meter is guys were counted from the outside. So picture 187. Again, don't you have to take into account the width of the rim? You have to take into account the width of the rim. So after the Gemara of Papa, sfasai sfas perach sasain. The sfasai, the rim, was like a flower of a shoishan. It was very, it came very thin. The chsiv for ovyei tefach, its thickness of the ball was a tefach usfasei, and the lip kimasei sfas kois perach shoishan. It was like the rim of a very, very thin flower. So it was a mashahu. Al payim bas yachol, and the pool held 2,000 bas. That's it. We're going to see what that is. It held 2,000 bas. A bas is 3 sa, so it really held 6,000 sa. Guys, it held, again, this is very important. It held, a bas is 3 sa. If it had al payim bas, so that is 6,000. 6,000 sa. 40 into 6,000 will give you 150. For ikamashu, there's still, even when it comes to the thinness of a lily of Shoshan, there's that thickness. So the Gemara says, Kika choshev migavoika choshev. They didn't go ahead and take the dimensions from the outside. Picture 185. They measured totally from the inside. They didn't take into account the outside at all. And therefore, we got that 3-to-1 ratio, and things should be good from here. Okay, Rash, I'm not going to use the pictures, guys. I think the math, it's easier to do math. The Gemara is going to say now that Shlomo's mikvah, the Yam Shel Shlomo, held 150 mikvahs, which would make sense because there's 40 saw in a mikvah, and 40 times 150 is 6,000. And if it held 2,000 bas, and each bas is 3 saw, so therefore you do the math, it's 6,000. So it works both ways. So the Gemara is going to try to figure out, based upon the math, why you needed 500, because it was 5 by 10 by 10. So therefore, we're going to figure it out why you need such a large area. So the rest of the Gemara is just is math, and not such difficult math. Tanya, Rabbi says, Yam shasa shloima hayamachzik meya v'chamishim mikvah tahira. Shlomo's Yam held 150 mikvahs. Guys, beautiful, right? 150 times 40 is 6,000. We did the math. It works out. Michti, mikvah kamahave. How's a mikvah? And we had this earlier. It's 40 sa, kivitnan. It says, v'rochatz b'sarei b'mayim b'mei mikvah. And we said, what? Kol b'sarei mayim shekol gufo oila behem. It has to be that you can cover the whole body in that. And what's the math for that? The kamahein. Amma al amma b'roim shalish amos. It's 1 amma by 1 times 1, and 3. And it's 3 high. So that's 3 cubic amas. So the shir chachamim mei mikvah abayim sa. So therefore, you'll have in one mikvah you'll have 40 sa, and a mikvah is 3 cubic amas. So if one mikvah is 3 cubic amas, how much in 300 cubic amas? You get 100 mikvahs. In 300, again, if 3 is 1, then 300 is 100, right? So in 300, you would get what? Okay, so that the Gemara does the math for you. Listen, the Gemara figures it out. We have to do, guys, 150 mikvahs, correct? Stay alive here, please. Again, we said 150 mikvahs. That's what the pasuk said. Yehudi, yeah, don't hide. 150 mikvahs, guys, right? You got 150 mikvahs, yeah? Now, let's figure this out. You told me, and we have 500. We have 500 cubic amas because it's 5 times 10 times 10. We have 500. We should only need 450. Why? If 300 mikvahs equals 100 mikvah, right? Then 150 will equal what? 50 mikvahs. It's half. So in 450 cubic amas, you should be able to get 150. Why did you need what? 500. That's the Gemara's kasha. Why did you need 500? You should have been able to do with 450. Says the Gemara, you were figuring out squares. His was a circle. And for the Gemara, so it's a quarter less. So now we're going to go ahead and offset it by a quarter. So let's see it inside. Says the Gemara, very geshmak. Kama have how many cubic amas were in Shlomo's mikvah? Is chamesh meya gamidi, the 500 cubic amas. 10 times 5. The class meya, for 300 cubic amas, you get 100 mikvahs. That's the 3-to-1 ratio. Lemeya v'chamisha chamishin. So from another 150, you can get 50. So in other words, you need a total of 150. 300 plus 150 is 450, not 500. You have an extra 50 cubic amas, guys. You have an extra 50 cubic amas. It's enough 450. Everyone with me so far? Guys, yes? Good? Hillel, you good or you busy with pie? Okay, good. It says the Gemara. Hani mili biravua. This is good when what? When you square. Then it's 500. But Yam Shosh Shloim made Agel Haya. The one that he made was round. It was round. Now, Michti. Kama Meravua Yeser Ala Eagle. How much is a square more than a circle? It's Ravia, it's a quarter. So therefore, the volume of a square, you can get the cylinder inside is a quarter. Therefore, we have to reduce the 500 of the square by a quarter. Good. So now, le'arba meya, from 400, you'll get what? From 400, you will get what you'll instead of 3-to-1, you'll get 4-to-1. You'll get from 400 cubic, you'll get 100. Le'meya ve'esrim chamisha, for the remaining you only have left over is 100, a quarter. A quarter is what? Because you can get 125. Hani meya ve'esrim chamisha havilei. So you don't have 150 mikvahs, right? Those dimensions you give, you have 125 mikvahs. You're 25 mikvahs short. The 20 Rabbi Cheskel, Yam Sha'ash Shleima, man, you went a quarter to 100. So therefore gave you 25, and you needed 50. Says Gemara, 20 Rabbi Cheskel, Yam Sha'ash Shleima, Shleish Amis Tachtonis Mervois. Listen to this. The 3 amis was the 3 lower amis were a square. So the square was 300. That gave you the 100. And the upper was Shtaimel Yonis Agules. And the 2 upper ones were what? Were round. Avrami, why are you laughing? Avrami, why are you laughing? And Hillel's laughing. And Baruch Weiner is fighting. So, Baruch, you're being serious, right? You're not listening to your father. You see guilty? I know guilty. You see how look? He's okay. Anyway, so guys, listen. If the bottom 3 are square, that gives you that 100 to 300, right? That's the original cheshbon. For 300 cubic amis, you're going to get 100 mikvahs. And the top 2 are round. So the section at the top was 150 cubic amis, and therefore that had 50 amis of water, and that's how you got your 450, 300 and 150. Says the Gemara, good, you can't say 300 were round and 200 were square, because then you have to be off. This in addition, it says the top was ugly. Why don't you say there was only 1 am around, not 2? Says because we have to get in 6,000 guys. We have to get in 6,000 saw. Right? Says the way the Ksiv al Payim Bal Yochel, it holds 2,000 bas. Bas kamahave. How much is a bas? Is shleish saw. So therefore, it has to be a total lot of 6,000. The Ksiv Maisa habas min akor. The bas is taken from a core. Davle shisa alfei greedy, which is 2,000 times 3 is 6,000. Therefore, mikveh had to be 150 mikvahs and not less than that. But Ksiv machzik batim shleisha apayim. It says it held 3,000 bas, not 2,000 bas. It says now, if you remember, guys, look at me. if you remember when, let's say Karen v'chaimish, I've always told you it's levar, not legav. So in other words, it's really a quarter. It's not a fifth. If you have $100, if you owe based on means $100, you don't owe them $120. You owe them $125. You owe them $125 because what do? We take the amount, break it up into 4 pieces, and then another one. So over here, when you have a liquid, it only goes to the top of the surface. When you have a solid, you have a goydish. You have it goes on top. That top will be a third more. So if the liquid was 2,000, that means you take 2 pieces of 1,000 each, and you add a third. And you're adding, now that's 3,000. In other words, you don't go ahead and take 2,000 divided by 3. That'll give you 7 something. You go ahead, you just take it. You take it, levar. You go ahead, take that, take 2,000, and add the same piece. So 2,000 will be the liquid, but a goydish will be 3,000. So really, it was 2,000, and the Divrei Yomim was going ahead and figuring out solid versus liquid. Solid versus liquid. Amar Abaye Shmamina. You see from there, Hai Gutsha Tulsa Have. You see that the heat is solid is a third more than the volume of the kli itself. The Tanya Nami, we looked at all in the Septa, in Shabbos, Shida Teva Migdol. You have a box, a crate, a closet, Kaveris Hakash, a basket of kash, Kaveris Hakonim of reeds, Ubor Bisvina Achsandrius, or the bar of a like Alexandrian ship that they would go in and use for water. Af al pi sheyeshnam shalayim, even though they have bottoms, they maxikas abas salt balak, and they hold 40 son lach. Shein kurayim biyavesh, which is the same of two cure of yavesh. Now 2 kur is 60 kur, and 60 kur is only which is 60 sa. 60 sa and 40 sa. So this is the third more. So to hire in their tahar because they're too large to carry. So what do we see over here? That something that can hold 40 sa, the goydish is 20 more is 60 sa.
Liquid.
Okay, you'll see it 7.5 years from now. Okay.
It'll make sense then.
Right. Okay. Listen, I can go over it, but I don't think I'm not. Unless you guys are interested in pie, I think we can go weiter. Okay, let's see the Mishnah. It says there, l'chayin she'amru goyvin asar tfachim. Right, the l'chayin we're talking about now. We discussed the width, the material, the width of the koira. We're now discussing the width, the material, guys, of the lechis, of the l'chayin. So l'chayin she'amru is goyvan. Is what's the goyva? Is asar tfachim. The goyva is asar tfachim would be what? It would be 10 tfachim. 10 tfachim. This is the size of a wall. 10 tfachim, which would be the size of a wall. The rachban, the oivan, kol shehu. Their width, and their not their length. Their width and the what do you call that?
Thickness.
Yeah, I'm saying it's 3-dimensional, right? It's kol shehu. That's a kol shehu. Rabbi Yosi says, is Rachman Gimel Tfachim. This we had the shita earlier, fellas. You remember? You got to remember this. Picture 69, right? Remember the Chatzah Katana going to the Chatzah Gedayla? Why you need on the sides 3 Tfachim according to Rabbi? Because Rabbi held like Rabbi Yosi, and therefore the minimal amount of a lechi can be 3 Tfachim. Therefore, it had to be 10 versus 11. It had to be 11. It had to be 1 amma more. Give us 3 and 3 on each side. That's one thing you got to remember from this Masechta, from that first parak. Okay, says Gemara, when it says l'chayin, guys, we had a machloikis, guys, 3 shitas, right? Beis Shammai, lechi and koira. Beis Hillel, lechi or koira. Rebbe Eliezer, 2 lechin. So what did our Mishnah say? Lechin she'amru. It's mashma, we're going according to the shita of Rebbe Eliezer, because we're saying plural in English lechis, right? We're saying lechis. Says the Gemara, lechin she'amru, leimetran stomach Rebbe Eliezer. Let's say we're learning stomach Rebbe Eliezer. Dama lechin be'inin, that you need lechin. Says the Gemara, like, no. My lechin, when it says lechin over here, it means lechin the alma. It means in general, boards, passing boards, signposts, but not to say that each mavoi needs 2. Ihachi kaira nami. It said kairis. Umay kairis the alma. Doesn't hachi come out. Oisin l'chayin shenechleku v'hen Rebbe Eliezer v'chachamim goyv masor tfachim v'roichvan v'oivon kolshu. Okay, the ones that they argue in, but not to say the shita of Rebbe Eliezer. The kama kolshu. How much is the kolshu? And Reb Chia afilu kichut asarbo, even like the string of a shirt. Hana oisalechi now. Oisalechi, the lechi usually put on the side. You put on the side post. Let's say over here oisalechi lechi lechatzi mavoi. Let's say you make the lechi in the chatzi of the mavoi. Ein loy el chatzi mavoi. You only have to have the mavoi. It only will be mat the half the mavoi. I didn't see if we have a picture of this. Let me see if we have a picture of this. Okay, that you don't want to see. Here you go. You put the lechi, guys, not in the middle. You put the lechi in. See where you're putting it? 196, guys. If you put the lechi over here, all you have is up to that lechi. Mush. It's on the side. It's not in the middle. You see, it's over here. You would only have up to there. You wouldn't get the whole lechi. You wouldn't get the whole mavli. So it says the Gemara. The chiddush is that you have that at all. You know, maybe you think you have nothing. Because no hanami pshita. So ma the tema leichish tilma asi l'shtamushe bekula kemash malon. In other words, you're going here you are. You know there's a lechi in the mavoi. I might think since the lechi is in the mavoi, I can use the whole thing. Kemash malon. We're not worried that you're going to go beyond over here. You're going to go ahead and only use up to here. Amarava, picture 197. Asalechi lamavoi v'gbiyam in akarka shleisha. Picture 197. You lifted it up above, guys. It's above. Oy sheheshpila min akaisel shleisha. Shefliga min akaisel shleisha. Or you took it off the wall 3. Or fliga min akaisel. Picture 198. See where you put the lechi over here, outside. Two pshatim, either this way, going, guys, away from the wall, or going into the Rishus Harabim. So you fligo. So now, lo yasav leklum. It doesn't count for anything. And listen to the chiddush. And I feel of Shimon Gamliel the Oma Aminim Lavud, and even according to Shimon Gamliel that we say Lavud, Hani Mili Lamaila. That's when it's above. Guys, when we had to take the two kairos above and connect them together, when you had to take the two kairos above and connect them together, then we said Lavud. Avalamata, Kivin Nahavile Mechitza, Shagdim Boikimba, Loika Amar. There, here, over here, below, where you'd have a loch of Gedim Boikimba, right? Then even Rabbi Shimon Gamliel would say you need 3. So it's fascinating. He only says the din of 4 in the kaira. He would not say it in the lechi. In other words, in the case where you lifted the lechi above the ground 3 tfachim. So we said you didn't do anything. Even according to Shimon Gamliel, who usually says 4 is lavud, here you agree you didn't do anything. Because why? Because Gedoy and Boikinba, we can have the goats going out, and therefore it would not be considered by the good. Okay, I think I'm going to stop over here this evening. I'm a little tired. Best Hashem. See you all tomorrow, 8:15. Have a great evening.